on some things, or there's other things that need to be taken care of, and that's their business. But they need a board member appointed, that you had not appointed it, in 30 days. Now, I'm just telling you, and then, you know, the question was asked, is it okay, you know, for then the council to do it? He says, absolutely. Chuck was called about it, according to statute, yes. That's the only reason that we're having this meeting. Now, if you're saying that, you're adamant about it, hey, Tim's been appointed, so now take care of business. I mean, so it's okay with me. I don't really necessarily want to go in a lawsuit or fight about this, but I'm just explaining why we done this.
And I wish that's what I'm saying. I wish someone would have called me, because I would have said, and I have been talking to Chuck about this as well, and I've said I'm waiting, and you, have I not, about this, and making sure, do I have the legal right to appoint? And receiving notification, and we've talked about that. And I would have, after they sent me that on Saturday, I told Trevor today, I called him this morning because I said, I need you to send me some forms. I'm going to appoint Donna today. And I had asked her way back then, but I've been literally waiting on the formal, and Trevor did tell me they're having a meeting to discuss it, and the attorney wanted to bring the points, and this is what the attorney said. I'm not keeping anything from you guys. I'm simply following the Georgia state law. And I want us to have someone on the board.
Well, there needs to be, and probably the only reason, I'll just have to be honest about it, the only reason that probably some of the council members, or maybe all of us who was reluctant to say anything, is because there has been a lot of people that's gone to Christie, that's gone to Jack, that's gone to Bill, that has got concerns about the Searles Foundation, the whole thing.
But that's not our
and
business.
Because y'all are involved with it.
We're not involved with it.
Well, if you're not, okay.
Let me just go ahead and make this very, very, very clear. I will swear on a Bible that I have no involvement. My husband, my family, my children, nobody has any involvement with the Searles Foundation. None whatsoever. Last year we were going to sell them a piece of property. When that fell through because of all the uproar, I told them that Davey and I said this property is not for sale. I would not subject myself to that anymore. Unfortunately, there is a lot of innuendo going around and rumors and lies. And that's why I believe the board contacted Philip Searles. And honestly, it's to the point where it is now affecting my job. Everybody's helping exacerbate this. And I don't appreciate it.
Well,
I don't appreciate it.
But I would like to say one thing.
We're speaking.
But it's in defense of you, actually, Rhonda, is that, as a matter of fact, at the board, Philip Searles did send a letter to the board of directors, to all of the board.
Yeah.
And he said in no uncertain terms that you all had no involvement in it. That put that to rest. And
well, it did for Christie.
What it was not, this opening, the board making a decision to open up for requests for proposals had absolutely nothing to do with any perceived about you. So let's put, and
honestly, that's not our business.
Okay.
That is totally the board's business, what they do there.
Just so you're aware, but and you can ask Angie, one of the names that I gave you was one of the board members had mentioned and nominated Donna Thompson. So I had no opinion about who sat on this board, but I said, and I gave her name.
Do we have a problem with Donna? I mean, I appointed her. Do any of you have a problem with her?
Now's the time to speak.
Because if you don't have a problem with her, why would we go through the trouble of having to seek a judgment in this?
True, but just to make clear that we only done this at the request of some members, and because the attorney, the housing authority attorney, said we had the authority to do it because you had not done it.
But he also you didn't hear this part. Like, can I read this to you? Because you missed this at the first part of the meeting. This was in the meeting that they had Wednesday, and this is what Stuart told them. Trevor had asked him, he said, Deb Kendall resigned, what are our next steps? What do we need to do next? And he said, I would just recommend in this situation that you prepare a letter to the mayor and the clerk and just let them know that you have a board member that has tendered their resignation and is no longer serving, and you would ask the mayor to make an appointment within the 30 days of receiving the letter. So we received the letter. She had not received any notification from Deb. She probably had no idea that she'd resigned. I did, because I did receive that email. So we both got the email sometime Saturday. And he said, now, I don't know what your practice is in the community, but in some communities it is not required, but a lot of times your board may have recommendations or want to suggest a person or persons who would otherwise make a good fit. He said you can make that suggestion if you choose. He was giving them advice on what to do. And he said, and then the mayor would have 30 days to make the appointment upon receipt of that communication of the letter. If the mayor fails to appoint within 30 days, then the power of appointment reverts to the city council as a whole. And that was what he told them. And Tanya brought up the question, well, what about the email? Well, yeah, she did send an email to the board, and she sent it to me, but she didn't send it to her. And here's what the state statute says. Now, this is what is most important, that the letter has to be sent by the governing body. Deb is not the governing body. The governing body is the housing authority. So that's
Are
what
you talking
Traver.
about what you sent us?
No, actually, they have to
Because
send.
that's very
No, they have,
messed up.
yeah, they have to, but it's the law, that's the.
Well, I mean,
that's
it's
the
a governing
law.
body,
Yeah.
it sounds like it's
But it's not,
talking to,
I
about the
have
city
a question.
council.
no,
When they get changed.
it's actually, the governing body in that case is actually the governing body of the board of the housing authority. So they directed, that's when Bill Tilley sent the email again to Traver and said, have you sent the official letter to the mayor? So
Mhm.
Traver sends me the official notification from the housing authority. They have to give him authority to do it. They gave him authority by this right here.
He did,
And-
Wait a
yeah,
minute, wait a minute.
yeah, I don't remember
Yeah,
him
so I
asking
mean,
that.
that's what your attorney said y'all had to
What
do.
did
That's
the-
what y'all were
What did the attorney
asking.
say in response to the question that I asked him about the 30-day appointment?
Yeah, he said basically, yeah, did she receive, did you send a letter? You said, oh, yeah, but she sent this letter.
She sent
But
the
it-
email, how did
But
he
it's
reply?
not, but it's not through the governing body.
How did he reply
So,
to that, though?
He was
Have you
very
had the chance-
vague and very unclear, but yeah, I'll be glad to read it, yeah. Traver says, okay, so he said, okay, we'll send out the official notification, blah, blah, blah. Tanya, I don't remember when she turned in her resignation. Well, she turned in the resignation the day after the board meeting on August 11th. But the meeting had no date when she would resign. It just said she's resigning, and it didn't tell an effective date. And so, even like I said, I had talked to her, and I know Bill Tilley was going to talk to her and try to get her to stay. So how did I know that she wasn't going to stay? Because that's not official. The city clerk had not received the official notification.
What did he say about the email?
No one had received it. So that's what, was said there. So he says, so the 30-day commences by the mayor and the clerk getting the notice. So he says that the 30 days, even if she did send me the letter, the clerk didn't get it.
Is that your responsibility or her responsibility?
Whose responsibility?
Your responsibility or Deb Cantrell's
It
responsibility?
is actually the board's. So Deb, I called Deb this morning and I said, Deb, I just want to be clear on something before I make a nomination. I said, did you send your resignation to the city clerk? And she goes, oh no, I'm so sorry, I didn't do that. But see, that's where she sends it to the board, and then the board, that's why they want the governing body to send the official resignation, because for all I know, y'all talked her into staying, and I'm going to go appoint someone, and she didn't really resign. She's decided to stay, which she could stay, is that correct? Like you said, she could still be, if she's not given an official date, she could still be on the board, correct?
Typically,
Yeah.
people serve until their successors are duly appointed
Exactly.
and sworn in.
So that's
Typically.
why I had no idea that, I mean, the city clerk had not, and that's what your attorney said, the city clerk would have to still get notification, she didn't send it. And Deb Cantrell we can call her right now, if you would like, we can get on the phone, she'll probably answer, and she will tell you, she did not send it. Did you receive anything? No.
So I guess the question here is, was the mayor duly notified, and is the 30 days up, Chuck? You're our legal counsel. I guess that's the main two questions we need to know.
Well, I mean, I think there are two questions. I think, was the mayor notified per the statute? But even if the mayor had been notified, and even if 30 days had elapsed, could the mayor nevertheless make the appointment? And again, it's not really my call to make that decision. It's really the housing authority. and the housing authority's attorney to make that decision.
But
Yeah.
using your legal expertise.
Yeah, was she
Yeah.
duly, because the thing is, the council here is not looking, we're not headhunting. We just wanna do what we're supposed to do. If we're not supposed to do this, then we don't need to do this. If we're supposed to do this, if this was in our legal purview, then we as a council need to do what we need to do according to the law. We don't wanna break the law, we don't wanna end up in court, none of us do. But I guess that the question that it boils down to is the questions I asked you. Was she legally notified?
So I'm gonna answer your question this way.
Okay.
If you want further clarification, I'll give it to you. If I were representing the housing authority, what I would say to the housing authority is you need to send a letter to the mayor on housing authority letterhead that is signed by the director that says this commissioner, and they're called, we say board members, but they're, in that world, they're called commissioners. Commissioner so-and-so has elected to resign or whatever, and make sure that the notice was delivered to the mayor and the clerk. And then wait for the 30 days, and if the appointment is not made in the 30 days, then the council would be within its rights to make the appointment. But I don't think that's to the exclusion of the mayor making the appointment. I think that is the best practice, and then that way there's not any question. I don't know what the legal effect of an email that was sent in August that says, and I honestly have not seen the email, so I don't know who it's from and to whom it's addressed and who all is copied on it. Again, would an email, is Traeger, am I getting the name?
Traeger.
right? He's the-
Traeger. Yes,
Would an email from him to Rhonda that copied the clerk and copied the board members on it saying the same things that I just said be sufficient? Probably. But again, if I represented the housing authority, I would recommend that it be done on housing authority letterhead and delivered to the mayor, just because it's better practice and it avoids situations
And
like
just as
this.
their attorney said, it needs to be sent to both me and the clerk. It was never sent to the clerk until Saturday. So it's not been, yeah.
Is that correct?
I don't know. Again, I've not.
I mean-
I guess we're looking for a yes or no answer,
I
Trevor,
mean,
because we need to
yeah.
move forward or we need to do away with this.
Yeah.
So I guess as a council, we need a yes or a no. Do we move forward in this, or we have a legal right to move forward? Was she duly notified? That's the question. In your opinion, if you had to answer yes or no, was she duly notified?
I
About
don't.
which time? The first time or the
Yeah,
second time?
first time.
And when I give this response, I want you to understand that I've neither seen this email nor have I seen this letter.
And really, I don't even know if it's fair, even, because this is not really,
Because the clerk did not receive a copy.
Yes or no?
yeah,
But
yeah.
I would say that, based on what you've said to me, I would not conclude that email to have been noticed to the mayor of the fact that there was a vacancy on the board and triggering the 30-day requirement.
So you're saying no, that she wasn't duly notified? I want it on record. You're saying no, she wasn't?
I'm saying, Jack, in the absence of seeing the email and the absence of seeing the letter,
Would it help you to see the email now?
I just
She's
read
got
it,
it.
I've
She's
just
got
read
it.
it, I read
She's
it
got
out
it.
loud.
but I don't know that it matters for this reason, because even the mayor still has the right, I
I
think,
understand.
under the statute, even to make the appointment beyond the 30-day window. It's just that if 30 days have elapsed, the council also has the right to make the appointment. So where we are right now is in a situation where 30 days have elapsed. As I understand it, the mayor has made an appointment. If this body makes an appointment, then I don't know what the legal effect of that would be. If I were the housing authority's attorney, I would have an opinion on that, and I would advise the Board of Commissioners as to who takes that seat, recognizing that whatever I say about it, even as the housing authority's attorney, is not the beginning and the end. You know, you could disagree with that, and a judge may say, appreciate Mr. Connolly's opinion, but it's not binding on me. Here's what I think the law says. So, I mean, I think that's where you are right now. And I think if this body goes ahead and makes an appointment, then you've got, now the housing authority has to decide literally who sits in that chair at the next housing authority meeting. And regardless of which way that goes, what I anticipate is that there is likely to be litigation and that somebody is going, whichever way the housing authority is
We're
going
not
to decide.
going into litigation based on what the attorney says. If the housing authority attorney says that he's going to accept the appointment that the mayor made, it's done.
Yeah.
What I wanna make sure
But
of
he didn't
is
say
that,
that, though.
I understand, but I'm saying that if he says it, so what you're saying is basically from here, if we make this appointment, it goes before the housing authority attorney, and he will be the final say basically.
No.
And the housing authority will be the final say on where it goes,
Actually,
because
a judge,
once
would-
that-
That's what
a
he
judge,
said.
a judge would be the final say.
Well, he's.
And that's even what he said.
What I envision.
And the judge will look at the timeline of events and say, okay, was there official notification? No, there was not. Just like Jake said, no, there was not official notification. When was the official notification? Said it was sent on October 10th or 8th. When was the appointment made? It was made on October the 10th, 2 days after she received it.
we are just
I mean,
trying to
you're
get
just getting-
clarification from Chuck. We don't wanna do anything that's unlawful, Chuck. I mean, we're not trying to, I just need to know, is it from here, if we make this appointment today, it goes to the attorney there, and he will decide who sits in that chair, is what you just said,
My guess is their board
and their
will
attorney.
will look to him and say, who takes this seat? Just as you guys
That's what
would look to me
That's what I'm
and say,
saying.
who takes this seat? And he will make a decision about that. Not to say that it's not reviewable.
Who would review it at that point?
A
judge?
A judge,
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
that
the
would be.
thing about this
Yeah,
is
and
what I just
and I
said.
will pursue this. I mean, I'm just telling you.
That's fine, you said that, we understand that. What I'm trying to say is if we make this, it goes to him. We're not gonna come back and jump on this. We just wanna do our job and our due diligence.
Right here, though, so you're really been adamant about it for one reason, right? And that is because it's your, it's not because you have any
It's,
involvement.
no, it's because
that's-
this is my right.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
no,
Yeah,
this is,
just
this
weird.
is my right to do this. I don't get very many rights as a, like you've stated, I
yeah.
don't.
Yeah, I
And this is
get
my
it.
right
Okay.
to do this, and I am following the Georgia
okay.
law.
Okay,
And for me to be put in this position is very insulting, because I have not gone through the proper channels, just as he said. Now, their attorney may say otherwise, but I will not take that as a final answer, because in my heart, I know that, and I know this Georgia law is correct.
okay.
We're doing the same thing.
Yes,
We are only following Georgia law that was given to us too.
yes.
That's what I'm trying to say. Nobody's headhunting here.
No.
We
no.
just
So
wanna
I
make
guess we'll just
sure,
make a decision. And
Make
then
a
we'll,
decision.
and I
I
will
want to
just
say, that after the meeting, I got a call. And the chairman had received a call from the attorney, and he had some concerns about some things that needed to be addressed. And they need a full board.
Yeah,
And he said, look, if the mayor's not
So-
appointed, y'all can appoint. And when the first thing I said, did the attorney say that the council could legally appoint?
so
Yes.
can I ask you a
So that's
question?
the
though?
reason that we even had.
So she contacted you and she told you that they need a full board. Is a quorum, I think, you're the same as us, is a quorum, you have 4 people on the board
We
currently.
have 3.
So, so
I'm the
you,
chairman, I
yeah,
don't
so
have
3 people make a quorum, so 3 people could decide, just like you guys would be 3. So you really didn't have to have that, I think that was
We do
a.
need a board
You
member.
need, you do.
It doesn't
No, no, no,
matter
no,
how
no,
we got
no.
here.
Excuse me, I'm talking. You need one, but it's not a necessity to conduct business because you have a full board. It's like 3 of you today, Angie wasn't here, the 3 of you were here, you could conduct it. We had 2 council members not here, but you still get to conduct business. So you don't have to have someone of, it.
Of someone.
never mind.
You don't have to.
I'm totally.
I'm just saying, she
missing
don't,
out on a lot of
they
stuff.
don't have to have but 3 people, which they have. And they've got 4 because she is
So,
member
so they're
2.
not like the council, it takes 3 to vote.
They're 3, yeah, they
As
have
long as
3.
they got 3
Yes,
that votes.
and that, so they're not able, they can conduct business.
They can, but unless
Yeah.
3 votes alike though,
You've got
they
4,
really
So-
can't. I mean, it wouldn't be a
But you have
quorum.
4 total.
And that's,
On your
that's
board,
the
you have
reason.
That's not
four. Okay.
correct,
Is it not?
no.
Oh, okay, well then that's the way it is with the city.
No, if you have
Everything
3
is-
members, you can have 2, 1, that's a quorum.
No,
Not-
it's not like that in our charter.
Not
is it?
here.
No,
Not
not,
in the
not in,
city.
no, not with the city.
In-
But
So
now the
I-
housing authority
But I don't know
may be-
really about the housing, I just assumed that they were, it's the same
Chuck's
as
trying to
those
speak.
ones.
Well, I was just gonna, on that point, it is, our charter does say a quorum is 3, but our charter still requires 3 affirmative votes.
Okay, so that's in your charter,
Yes.
not all cities are that way.
And,
And I just assumed
And the
that you
housing
said they
authority
were
has
board.
4, and the chairman, which is a tie-breaking vote, correct?
Right, that's correct.
So, do they have a
So it
quorum?
still always takes 3
If you
of
have
them
2, I mean,
Yeah.
you have a voting quorum there,
So
Chuck?
you could
I have
vote,
to look at the housing.
You
But
authority.
then again, not really if they,
Okay.
if
so
they don't.
let's just say they had, it was a 2 to 1 vote, you would be able to vote in
And then
that
it's 2 to
case.
2, so we still don't have a quorum.
Unless you vote
That's
with
really not
the
relevant
2.
to this discussion.
Yeah.
Well, and okay, we're off topic, but I was just saying, this is the reason we called this meeting, and my, this is the way I look at it. She's called, she's made the appointment. I mean, I'm gonna have to say, she's made the appointment. There's no reason for us to appoint someone. Now, this is just me, and I mean, it's just because, I mean, Bill, Christie?
I made the motion, he seconded it.
I know that, but after we've heard everything and just, I mean, I don't know. Y'all just go ahead, what everybody wants to do then. I
Well,
mean,
let's just vote on it then.
Because
Jack,
I
Because it
don't want
goes
to get a
to the-
lawsuit.
I wanna make sure that we're
Okay.
doing
And if
what's
she's that
right.
adamant about it.
Rhonda, if you don't care, I wanna make sure
No,
we're
that's
doing what's
fine.
right.
It's really, truly.
So, we have a right to make this appointment. It's gonna go to the attorney.
I want to be clear, there's nothing that it prohibits you from making
Okay.
the appointment that I'm
So if we
aware of.
make this appointment, we do our appointment, it's gonna be up to their attorney to decide who sits in that chair.
Oh, and that's the other thing that I was told, that the attorney did say that he would make he would make the decision,
So
even if
basically,
after
she's
the
done what
fact,
she's supposed to do,
the mayor appointed.
she's done what she's supposed to do, we do what we're supposed to do, and we let the attorney deal with it. He moving forward, he'll make that decision, am I correct?
He will advise his
And
client
they will make that appointment.
No.
who sits on the board, who
Oh,
takes
okay.
I don't
the seat.
believe it's a board, I think that is an attorney decision, not a board decision.
Okay.
And it's
So
actually
she
become a
fulfilled her
judge's
duties,
decision.
we can fulfill our duties,
It's a judge's
and then
decision.
we let them decide.
Well, yeah, and subject to, a judge ultimately deciding who takes the seat.
If we try to fight this, if he says he wants to go with Donna Thompson, then, and we say, well, that's fine, you've made your decision, it's done.
Well,
You'll go to the
unless
judge.
somebody, another interested party files, it would most likely be a declaratory judgment action, which is, I think everybody in the room knows. But that's basically when there's a legal question that all interested parties need the judge to answer for them.
Well, and in this particular case, Jack is he's not going to be able to vote anyway, so I think we'll have 3 votes here, so it would have to be affirmative. He cannot vote since his live-in girlfriend sits as the board on this, so that is a huge conflict of
Is
interest.
that correct?
Wait a minute, is that correct, Chuck?
Yeah, I don't know that, unless Jack has a financial interest at stake, I don't know that he would have a legal conflict that would prevent him from voting.
Even with his girlfriend sitting on the board.
Again, typically a conflict of interest requires some sort of personal interest from
Financial
from a
gain.
financial standpoint.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, and the question that I probably would ask the council here,
Now, I want to clarify that and say there are statutes that define conflict, like the zoning procedures law. And so it says that if you have an ownership interest in a property or in a business that is subject to a rezoning, then you are disqualified from voting on it. If you have a close family member, and that's defined in the statute, that has an interest, a financial interest, or an interest in a business, they are disqualified from voting on it. So there are statutes that have a specific definition, but as an actual conflict, I'm not aware of it, unless you have, a financial interest.
Yeah,
Well,
that would
financial
seem
interest
obvious
is-
to me, but.
I don't have a financial interest in anything that actually goes on in the city. I
I
don't
have
even
a
know.
financial interest in
Yeah.
the housing authority.
Yeah, I don't have a financial interest in the housing authority.
So really then, it comes down to, does the council want to do what the attorney of the housing authority suggested be done? Because he's, whatever reason. Or do we just go ahead and go with what the mayor, because she's made it before we did? I mean, is there a reason that,
And is there a reason y'all want to go to court over this? That'd be my
You
question.
keep threatening court, we all
Oh, I
understand.
am going to.
Well, that's
yes,
fine,
I
we
will.
understand that, but this is business.
are
We-
you not, huh?
Yeah. This is
You don't
business.
have to threaten court,
This-
Rhonda,
this
we're
is-
just trying to
this
do
is
what's right.
business, Jack,
So-
and it's very
It
clear
is,
cut, common
it's fine,
sense, and
But
it's,
you keep throwing court up, you're threatening us with court.
oh,
don't threaten
I
us
said
with
a,
court.
I said
We're gonna
a
make a
declaratory
decision.
judgment.
We're-
And I want you guys to make a decision, but I'm just telling you.
Well, we
Use-
wanna do that without you threatening us with court.
Use the decisions based on Georgia law and
I
knowing
think that's what we're
what your
trying
rights
to do.
are, because we've gotten into this over and over and over again, and there's no sense of continuing to have to go to court over things. This is my right to appoint. I'm within every
Nobody said it wasn't.
into the law.
Nobody
on
said it
this.
wasn't.
On the council's end of it though, this is a really big deal for this community.
It is.
The Searles Foundation will be going into a 30-year contract with and that is something
And
that.
honestly, that's not my business
No,
or
it's,
anybody.
it
not.
appears
It's
that
not.
that's why you're really pushing this.
I'm pushing this because it's the right thing, and because I'd asked her to do this
Okay,
in
all right,
August the
okay.
10th. If I give my word to someone and I've asked her to do it and she commits, why would I not? Donna she's not pushing the Searles Foundation. She's just simply been following this for 2 years now.
I don't have any financial interest with the Soros Foundation either, I don't get any money,
No,
just for the record.
Neither do I, just for the.
And may I address the
neither do
board?
I,
Mayor,
for the record.
may I
Yes,
address?
yes.
I'm not threatening, this is not a threat, but I will tell you that because of the timeline that was of how the city dealt with me and based on the state law, I will be asking for a declaratory judgment if this goes against me after I was asked by not only a board member but also the mayor, so just for the record.
Okay, so we've had 2 threats of judgment.
Okay,
I'm going
excuse
forward.
me,
So, she was finished, so
I think
I
this
guess we
is
need to make a
time-
vote.
I think that, yeah, that would be where I would come for that, Jane. So
Thank you.
I'm going to, just go ahead, we'll go ahead and vote on this, and y'all can move forward however we choose.
Do you
Angie,
wanna continue?
we've had a first and a second, so we'll let you vote. Do you vote yes or no to appointing Laura Susan?
I don't even know if I can even make a decision on this. I mean, why don't y'all just make the decision?
Can't do that, Angie, we have to make a decision as a unified group. You have to vote. Christie has to vote. We all have to vote.
Who made the second?
You can abstain from voting, which would be,
Was it no?
if they abstain from voting, would that be considered a yes or a no? It's just,
It's a zero.
so you can abstain if you choose to, Angie.
Go ahead, Chris.
I'm good with whatever you guys wanna do. You're in no hurry, take your time. Whatever you guys wanna do, I'm good with it. You've heard from Chuck, you've heard from the mayor, you've heard from Donna Thompson, you've heard from the Board chair?
Okay, let's let her vote.
I definitely don't want the city to get sued or taking up taxpayers' dollars, but also threatening that scares me, putting somebody, you know,
But it's not about that, Christie, it's about the right and following the law. Did I do this within the allotted amount of time? Yes. Am I following Georgia law? Yes. That's all it's about. I'm following the letter of the law when I received the notification. That's what this is
If
about.
that's the case, it's a moot point.
That's it's about. That's what it's about.
If
and
that's
not
the
only-
case, it's a moot point.
And not only that, I asked Donna to do this 5 days after Deb resigned, so.
and we didn't know, you didn't
Yeah,
communicate
because
that with us at
Because
all.
I've been waiting to hear from the housing authority because they wanted to give me the official notice, so.
And if that, and the way that I am looking at that, if this is really the way it was, and you were just waiting on them, I mean,
If we've made a mistake, we've made a mistake. We have an opportunity to fix this. If it's in everybody's heart to move forward, we need to move forward. We have to decide. If we've made a mistake,
I'm not gonna
Now-
call it a mistake.
I don't know, I don't think it was a
now's the,
mistake.
I'm not
now's,
gonna call it.
now's the opportunity to
I
make
think it's a
make
lack
your
of
decision.
communication amongst all of us.
And I think that's a problem that we need to
Yeah.
rectify
Yeah,
moving forward. So,
communication is key.
it is.
Yes, and communication is a two-way street. Yeah, it is.
We're in this predicament now, Chuck, where we are.
What would you recommend that we do, Chuck?
All right. I would recommend that if you're just asking me for a recommendation.
As our
Yep.
attorney, yeah.
Yep.
I would ask the housing authority's attorney to opine as to whether the mayor's appointment was appropriate, or if that is in fact in the letter of the law.
Well, he has basically stated here, though, that the city clerk and the mayor would have to receive the official notification. So I think he stated it in their previous meeting, and I have the transcript right here from the meeting.
Yeah.
And she did not receive it.
So,
But
I'm
Let's-
not opposed to
let's-
asking the city attorney, I mean, our housing authority attorney
So-
that question.
do we want to postpone the vote until after we get something from, can we do that, Chuck?
You can, I mean, as a practical matter.
Does this have to be done right now if we need to move forward?
It doesn't have to be.
We can come back and do this at a regular meeting if we need to.
You can.
So we can postpone this vote if we want to get more information, to make sure that everybody's ducks are in a row.
Yeah, I would say that you can.
But I wanna be clear, what is it that you said we should do is to, or this should be the city attorney's
You're good.
decision?
That-
I mean, the housing authority attorney's decision? Or,
I think the housing authority attorney is gonna if there is a dispute as to whether the appointment has been proper, I think the housing authority's attorney ultimately is gonna have to call balls and strikes on that.
If they appoint someone.
Well,
If they appoint someone and I appoint someone.
yes. That being the case, you could go ahead and ask him, you know, under these facts.
Do we keep everything just like we have it right now and get the information from their attorney?
And the mayor has made, as I understand it, the mayor has made an appointment, or the mayor has appointed someone to the board.